I'm Trish Toby with WARC reporting to you live from Westchester, New York, where there appears to be some sort of mutant menace on the loose.
Hey, I'm Pat Reber.
And I'm Matt Allcamp.
And say it with us, Pete.
Welcome
to Mutant Menace. Oh, Matt.
Yes, Patrick.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm excited to talk about Life Death.
Life Death. Tell us about Life Death, Matt. Talk about it right now.
All right, issue number 186. No, this is a good. We're back to the X-Men this week, huh?
We are back to the X-Men, and we're back to yet again an iconic story.
Yes, this whole run, there are shallow parts of the Claremont run.
Yeah,
but it is astonishing how many just classic, like top tier stories are packed into this.
Yeah, like not just X-Men defining, but genre defining.
Yeah,
comic runs. And this is, I would say, probably one of the more undersung,
sure,
of the legendary ones. I think this is a huge deal. I hadn't read it. I had heard about it, but had heard very little about it. And
right.
Honestly, if you've seen X-Men 97, you might be able to, you might recognize a few factors here as well. But what a story. I'm very excited to get into this.
Life Death or Wraithkill?
Okay, so we should address a couple of elephants in the room. Number one, still, there is a blizzard plaguing all of the Marvel Universe.
Thor winter.
The entirety of Earth, thanks to Thor. Just keep that in mind, because the characters don't always. And then the other being dire wraiths.
Yeah,
Matt, remember where we last saw dire wraiths?
This is all part of a company-wide ROM event called the Wraith War or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And
insane.
It's so wild to think that the background of Life Death is a ROM story.
Is a ROM shoot-off. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
It's wild in the first place to think that ROM at any point was powerful enough to impact other branches of the Marvel Universe.
The character of Forge comes from ROM. It wasn't introduced in ROM, but his whole thing here was, I've replicated ROM's technology, and that's why I'm important to this story.
Yeah, yeah. I can't handle that. I think we both tried to minimize the Wraith involvement in our recaps here, but at some points it's unavoidable, and you just have to kind of close your eyes and forget that it's ROM Spaceknight-adjacent.
The stories, I don't think we get into it, but the stories get into like the classifications of the different kinds of dire wraiths. Like, these are the dire wraith warlocks. These are the dire wraith hellhounds. These are the dire wraith. What were the ones that fly? The Dreadwings or whatever.
And I mean, who's writing ROM Spaceknight at this point?
Bill Mantlo. So of course Chris Claremont is going to give his best friend a leg up and say, yeah, you know what, buddy? Thor's not the only one that can impact the entire Marvel universe. And this is we're still dealing with some post-Secret Wars stuff that's wearing off. The moment it wears off, Secret Wars 2 is going to kick in. But right now we're in that sweet interim spot.
Yeah, yeah. So savor this, folks.
And Wolverine and Kitty Pryde are off in their miniseries. So
not here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
What else, Matt? Catch us up on the X-Men, because outside of the Wolverine and Kitty Pryde miniseries, it's been a little while.
It's been a little while. Well, okay, so some New Mutant stuff is affecting the X-Men here too. So first, Rogue is a part of the X-Men now, and she has just been framed by the Hellfire Club for the murder of a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. You might remember she has the memories of Carol Danvers, and there was a whole thing with
Colonel Michael Rossi.
Rachel Summers, starting in New Mutants, I believe, has just returned from the Days of Future Past timeline, and she fought Selene, and then collapsed in a heap, and she was like, the world is doomed, because she thinks I guess she knows she came back to the wrong timeline. Nothing in her past lines up with this present.
Exactly.
Storm, she's still all fucked up since she died and then met Yukio. She gave up plants. She became a punk. She's leader of the Morlocks and the X-Men now, and she's gotten like a little more fierce, a little more violent. And then there's Forge. Forge is around.
I love this era of Storm that we've been seeing, and like
Punk Storm.
It focuses the storytelling around her, but it's been such a good story. Like watching her. Yeah, we talked about it last time we covered the Uncanny run, but she died and then came back thanks to the space whales.
She was a space whale for a minute
and has been slowly, I wouldn't say rebuilding, like reshaping her life since. She's been rethinking her vows, her mission, and I think has just been a better and at sometimes nobler character because of it.
Yeah, because before she was just kind of like a flawless goddess person, and now she is a person who is, like most of the other X-Men, overcoming a flaw to be a hero.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We were talking.
Nope. Sebastian knows best. It is time to get into Pat's email corner. We got a few here,
Sebastian
Matt.
Bach.
Primarily, don't tell people. Primarily about the survey we asked for back in episode 54. Let's start with Pete. Folks, you know Pete. He just talked to us during the intro of the show.
Welcome to Mutant Menace.
Right, Pete, you're supposed to have already left.
So imagine this whole email in that voice.
Hey, Matt, tell Pat that I'd rather... Wait a second. Tell Pat that I'd rather drown in pilk, mainly due to viscosity. I hate mayonnaise as much as I hate Jack Black. Fuck mayonnaise.
I thought you were going to say piss. I was positive you were saying piss, but you'd rather drown in pilk and you hate mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise. I put mayonnaise on all my sandwiches, even my peanut butter and jellies. No, that's not true. That last part's not true.
If you don't recall, Matt, because it seems like you might not.
No, we asked people if they'd rather drown in mayonnaise or pilk.
Okay. Just want to make sure that you understand.
It's normal. It's a normal question.
In terms of who I'd pick, we also asked them to pick one X-Man to drown with them. So that it's X-Men related.
Yeah, we're so smart.
I'd probably pick Iceman, not because I dislike him or want him to drown. I just like to see what happens to Mayo when it freezes.
But you just said you'd rather drown in milk.
Shruggy guy. So we kind of presented two scenarios here. Let's go back. We'll refresh everybody's memory.
Okay.
Drowning in pilk, which we determined is different because you would like find your way up to the curds and be able to at least keep yourself afloat, only to find that there's a layer of foam above it that's not really filled with oxygen.
Oh, right. Because you'd be breathing. Yes. Okay.
Or just drowning in mayonnaise, because that's always been one of my nightmares.
It's always been one of your nightmares, he said. He says it's always been one of his... It's always been one of his nightmares to drown in mayonnaise.
Yeah, I think we can keep moving. And then you said, we can make this X-Men related. Pick an X-Man to drown with you and why, and they can't save you. And I said, or you drown in one of the drinks and you pick an X-Man to drown in the other.
Okay, so he is... Pete is drowning
Welcome
in...
to Mutant Menace.
Pete, get out, dude.
Pete is drowning in the Pilk, and next to him, Iceman is drowning in mayonnaise.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And he says he'd like to see what happens to Mayo when it freezes. There's an
You
easy
can
way to find out.
Fucking do that, dude. Yeah, it's so easy. That is the easiest dream to realize.
But thank you to Pete, the first one to respond to this survey. Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have another classic here, Matt, in the form of Email Michael.
Oh, Email Michael. Hey.
Responding to the same episode, he says, "Hey, Pat, tell Matt that my own answer to the question of whether or not Pilk curdles is pretty clear in my video."
Believe it.
Yeah.
I cannot believe we're still talking about Pilk.
It does, but not a lot, and it doesn't affect the taste. Just stir it well and drink it fast. It did upset my stomach, but that's probably because I'm a little lactose intolerant. That's why it had been several years since the last time I drank milk, and one of several reasons why I hope to never drink Pilk again.
Yeah, don't poison yourself for this podcast.
Yeah, folks, we ask a lot of you as listeners, and I understand that. If any of it is causing physical pain for you, consider yourself exempt. Thank you,
Pat,
Email Michael, for pointing out that we need to make this clear.
Do you ever notice that our listeners will poison themselves with Pepsi and milk? We can tell them to do this crazy thing and they'll do it. And yet 90% of them will not leave a fucking review on iTunes.
Yeah, folks, next time we ask you to do something that might cause you harm, if we're ever like, hey, Pat's Email Corner Challenge, mix chlorine and bleach together. Instead,
go leave us a review or share on social media.
Go rate us, tell a friend.
That is the thing we would always rather you do. Oh, fuck.
All right, continuing on. I would rather drown in Pilk than mayonnaise because I'm dead either way, and mayonnaise smells way worse and would probably take longer to drown me because it's thicker.
Oh my God.
Good point. Again, I thought Pilk might compete with mayonnaise, but mayonnaise is
far
everyone's
away.
nightmare. Mm. If I had drowned next to an X-Man who can't save me, then it depends on one thing. Basically, I understand that I'm absolutely going to die in this circumstance, but can the X-Man save themselves?
Oh, okay. So you're concerned, with the X-Man's life. You don't want to drag someone else down with you. Yes, the X-Man can get the X-Man can just stand up. They're in a shallower tub than you. And if they want to, they can just stand up and walk away. If they drown, it's because they choose to.
Keep these questions coming in, though, folks, so we can really nail down our would you rather here. He does say, if the X-Man can save themselves, Nightcrawler. He can, even as a lay person, lead the commendation of the dying and teleport away before I die. He still gets the blessing. If not, Wolverine, because eventually the Pilk will be drained or otherwise removed, and Wolverine will be fine. And I think he could maybe offer some perspective or wisdom based on his long life and many experiences with death that might help me feel less terrified as Pilk fills my lungs.
Listen, bub, I know you're dying here. You know you're dying. I know you're dying. You're not getting out of this Pilk situation alive. But how many of us have ever really lived?
I would sincerely love the bit here that the X-Man he chooses is just the one that can make him feel most comfortable as he's dying. On a scale of 1 to 10, If
Oh
you
my
remember,
God.
we also asked folks to rate their experience from 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, my own happiness will be a 1 either way because I do not want to die by drowning. Nothing changes that. And if Nightcrawler's prayers work and I go to Christian heaven, then I'd be happy about that. But still, a 1 out of 10 for the drowning part.
That is a really fair. That's a really, really fair assessment.
True. And then finally, he says, here is my drawing of a toilet. I drew it in about 5 seconds because I do not like being asked to draw things. We asked folks to draw a toilet.
We asked people to draw a toilet?
Yes. Because it's hard to do. It is clearly a quick, but honestly impressive drawing of a toilet.
It's a pretty good toilet.
All right, let's keep moving. We have got a couple more emails to cover here. Vio responds to our Would You Rather question. Dear Pat, tell Matt I would rather drown in Pilk as I would imagine a large enough volume would at least be separated somewhat, so I might, if I am lucky, be able to drown in the Pepsi.
Okay.
All right. So, assuming that it separates, you could choose rather than dying in the curdles.
You could stick your head up to die in the curdled milk, or you could pull your head down to die in the Pepsi, and yeah.
Exactly. If you're going to drown in something, it might as well be soda.
And then next to you, Colossus just stands up and wonders why you're drowning.
I tried to think about which X-Men I would put in the mayo, but to be perfectly honest with you guys, I stopped my brain from answering DC's Resurrection Man, as his power is to resurrect with the power of what killed him, and I would like to see how he has manned his powers. Perfect response. If I had to choose an X-Man at gunpoint, maybe Quentin Quire or something. Resurrection Man is perfect. Thank you, Vio.
Now I have to read Resurrection Man, because what is the power of gun? Like, I got shot in the head, and now my head shoots bullets?
Maybe
like I can shoot bullets out of my...
Pew, pew. And then finally, Matt, we have a new emailer today. Ooh. David, our listener, David.
Hey, David.
Says, hi, Pat. Tell Matt my name is David. I found the show right after episode 52 released, and I've been listening pretty nonstop. I just passed the debate about ice in milk. Oh, boy, David, if you are just getting to ice and milk, you have a
lot of milk-related content.
I was going to wait and email until I caught up, but had to weigh in after that.
Yeah.
So immediately.
People... This is what our podcast is for people, right? Like, it is just about milk and milk-related subjects.
Yeah.
And they kind of like the X-Men.
I think it's about arguing with us, Matt.
Oh, my God.
Arguing with and correcting us, which means we've cultivated the right type of community.
Yeah, that's true.
Last night on the TTRPG Play live stream that I'm part of, he plugs his Twitch channel shamelessly here. I quickly asked, ice and milk, yes or no? There was a unanimous agreement that ice and milk is acceptable even if it isn't preferred. However, ice and chocolate milk is just not okay for any reason. I think we hard agree on that.
Yeah.
I also realized I missed out on the street tram and flyers, but we have talked about Mutant Menace on our Tuesday live stream for the past 2 or 3 Tuesdays. Thank you so much, David.
Streamer David.
He gives us some compliments here. It's only his first email. We don't need a nickname just yet.
What about Live Dave?
We'll think about it, but he does prefer David, it looks like.
Live David.
Live David.
Live David isn't as good as Live
Livid.
Dave. Livid.
But the one other thing he provides us here, right here after the first recap episode, I made a quick slideshow game to use with my patrons of my stream called Mutant or Not, and he provides it to us to play. Said, feel free to use or share it. He also mentioned that he joined the Discord, so David, I would recommend putting this in. This is a really fun little quiz.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Aced, but I think the casual reader might find a little challenging. It's very fun. So thank you, David. Please keep writing in so we can give you a diminutive nickname.
I think it's going to be... Live Dave is good, but he prefers David, so that's harder. So yeah, we go back to the drawing board on this one.
Yeah. We'll get there, though. Don't worry. We're pretty good at this by now.
All right.
And that's the end of Pat's email corner. Matt, I gotta ask, as always, have you done anything X-Men related this week?
Nah. Pat, have you done anything?
That's allowed. You're allowed to say that.
X-Men related this week.
Not against the rules. You know what, Matt? I have not stopped thinking about that damn scrambled egg monster. I think so. I with some distance between having read it now, that might be the funniest thing I've ever seen in comics. Like intentionally funny thing I've ever seen in comics.
Right.
It's really, and you know me, we've done comedy together for more than a decade. I think egg is the funniest food or prop or whatever you want to refer to it as. And I love eggs. One of my favorite foods. This comes from a place of reverence, but
you can call him Edward Egg. No, don't call him that.
I'm not sure where you were even going with that.
I was trying to think of like a nickname that had to do with egg. You can call him Eddie Eggs. You can call him Egg.
Eddie Eggs.
Eggsy. You can call him Eggsy. You can no, none of this. None of this.
Good thing we don't have to give anybody a nickname today. So yeah, I'm still stuck on that. Oh, you should have said he is the Eggman.
No, I wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, that's true.
I still don't like it now that you've said it. All right, Patrick. Will you read me some X-Men comics?
I will, Matt. I'm going to start. I'll say where we left off with Uncanny X-Men number 185, Public Enemy. I love that band. Chris Claremont, writer, John Romita Jr., and Dan Green, artists, Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Glynis Ween, colorist, Ann Nocenti, editor, and Jim Shameless, editor-in-chief. Release date June 5th, 1984. Cover date September 1984. It's good to have the whole gang back together, you know?
They're all here.
Henry Peter Gyrich stands in front of an assembly of dorks at the Pentagon, giving a presentation on how dangerous a mutant Rogue is. His solution? A gun invented by Forge that neutralizes mutant powers. Raven Darkholme bursts into the meeting protesting the operation, but Val Cooper pulls her off. This has presidential approval. It's as good as done.
Fuck.
When he's doing this, he suggests that the X-Men and the Brotherhood may have formed an alliance and are teaming up. I got actually mad when he said that.
Because of like...
They're not friends.
They're actually enemies, and they've been since day one.
Raven walks back to her private quarters where she shifts back to her Mystique form. Her private quarters, of course, being a top secret room in the Pentagon. She's got her own.
Valerie, if I'm going to be your assistant, I need a secret room in the sub-basement that me and all my friends can have access to, but no one else is ever allowed to go into.
No one else. It's
all right. All right, Raven, deal. You're such a good assistant. I will grant this to you.
Her partner, Irene, aka Destiny, is waiting for her to discuss the dangers that Rogue is in. This is, if you haven't figured it out, the new headquarters of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, the U.S. Pentagon.
The U.S. Pentagon, yeah.
Mystique wonders if it would be better for Rogue to lose her powers and come home, but is conflicted about it. Destiny can't quite see the future because of the fabric of time or something or other.
You don't fucking say.
So she tells Mystique that she must follow her heart.
why did they invent a character that could see the future only to every single story be like, oh, it's unclear. There are mysterious forces at work. I don't know why I can't see the future this time. You never can.
Yeah, I can't think of a way to write myself out of that either. So I don't necessarily blame him, but
why invent her?
Yeah, that's true. While the military take off to find Rogue, Raven calls Forge, who is fucking furious that his inventions are being used so recklessly, and he takes off in his own jet.
Come on, man.
He calls the president.
What did you expect, dude?
Yeah, that's true. Also, when the government's out looking for Rogue, I think it's Val Cooper asks Henry Gyrich, how will you locate her? With Rogue's scanner? And then he says, no, actually, we're using the device the Avengers built in Avengers Annual number 10 that specifically tracks Rogue. Why not just say yes in that situation?
Yeah,
why not just say yes?
Save so many
this is
words.
Also Forge's tool.
You know, Tom Warzakowski was sitting there like, why?
What if I just said you? Would anybody notice if I just... Back at Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, Storm bursts into a therapy session between Professor X and Rachel
Everyone's
Summers.
doing this lately.
Apparently, Rogue is missing, and they take off to Cerebro to locate her, leaving Rachel alone in the office. Flipping through Xavier's phone book, she finds an entry for Scott Summers and dials his number. But when he answers, she can't speak. Rachel breaks down in tears as she hears the voices of her father on the phone and Madeline Pryor, who she assumes is her mother, in the background.
Does this work for you emotionally?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. For some reason, Rachel Summers just doesn't work for me emotionally. I don't dislike her as a character or anything, but it's very rare that her stuff works for me emotionally. And I don't know why that is.
I can relate to this. Like, if you've lost a parent, the idea of going back in time to a time that they're still alive and don't even know who you are, but still wanting to just reach out and be like,
yeah,
hi.
Yeah,
it's heavy.
I think you're right. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't strike me. Maybe because I've never lost a parent. Maybe that it is like literally that simple.
I mean, I haven't either, but
well, then stop lying to the people.
That's he's a Mutant Menace exclusive, folks. My father is still alive.
We're two guys with alive dads, and we won't apologize for it.
In a little swimming hole on the banks of the Mississippi River, Rogue, in an uncharacteristically skimpy bikini, shows off for some boys on a riverboat, diving into the water and sunning on the shore.
So, Claremont, look, Pat, he doesn't do gratuitous nudity. He doesn't have ladies naked for just no reason. He comes up with legitimate character reasons why all of his female characters are naked all the time.
Right.
Look, Rogue is invulnerable, so of course, every time she's in a fight, her clothes get all torn off. And she's trying to be free, so of course she's in a tiny, skimpy bikini showing off for the boys. And Storm is from Africa, so of course
she's one with nature.
Always naked.
Why would she want to wear clothes? She wears clothes because she has to.
And so, you know, this is character stuff, Pat. Stop saying it's gratuitous nudity.
Rogue's relaxing time is interrupted by Storm. Almost immediately, Rogue pours her heart out about how when she was a kid, she was kissing a boy on this riverbank and accidentally drained him of his memories. About how she ran and she's been running ever since. About how she regrets what she did to Carol Danvers, and about how she doesn't know if she's more loyal to the X-Men or Mystique. About how no one will ever fully trust her because her merest touch can destroy a person. To this, Storm slips off a glove and offers her hand.
What the fuck?
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Every act of absorption has been through violence. And the violation of a person's free will. What if Storm gives herself freely and allows Rogue to see through her eyes. Would that change things? Hesitantly, Rogue takes her hand and sees the world come alive around her. Its beauty unlike she's ever seen. She creates little rainstorms and tornadoes in her hand, and it makes her crave more. She almost touches Storm's unconscious body to drain her further, but stops herself just before she's struck in the back by some kind of beam. The army is here, and they demand her surrender.
A beam? Pat!
Not a beam!
Not a beam!
So it is from here on out, every gun they have shoots beams, not bullets, which is probably visually more exciting, but it's always a little strange. It's like watching Saturday morning cartoons again. This is a really powerful, to me, this is a really powerful Storm moment. And this is one of those moments where, like, and you said it, her offering her hand, being like, let's see what happens if you absorb my powers as I'm giving them to you willingly. It's a very Yukio moment. It's very her just saying, like, hey, this could kill me. They even mention it could kill her. This could kill me. But if it does, like, at least I died helping a friend. And if it doesn't, this is going to rule. This is going to be very exciting.
Right.
It's also at the same time her literally extending her hand to a friend in a mental health crisis and saying, like, let's go through this together. I'm here. Here is what I can do to help you if you can take this resource.
Right. So
it's really just like, as a friend, even in her dark era, she's still got it. She's still
because I mean, like, how dark has that dark era really been?
It's just a mohawk.
I know, exactly. It's the way that everybody keeps saying that magic is evil. Like, how? In what way? In what way?
Okay, so the army is here. Rogue flies off, attempting to draw the army from the unconscious Storm, but her powers are all fucked up. She's stumbling around, but still able to create a tornado and throw the military vehicles around. She loses control of the Storm, though, and notices the riverboat boys from earlier struggling in the water. She feels the heroic influence of Storm's thoughts in her head and flies over the water to try and slow it down, but finds she can't. Her Storm powers are gone. Which also must mean the heroic thoughts were her own. At that moment, Storm herself arrives to help, and the two try to pull the boat ashore. They realize this leaves them open to the military, but they can't let these fishermen drown, so they continue to pull.
So there's a confusing thing here where they seem to set up a mechanic where if somebody gains their powers back or wakes up from Rogue's touch, like if they regain their consciousness or their powers or maybe both, that takes them back from Rogue. Is that how her powers will continue to work? That's not how I understood. Like, I thought if she takes Wolverine's healing powers and knocks Wolverine out, Wolverine can, when Wolverine wakes up, he still has his healing powers, but they both do. But was I just wrong about that always? Or
his would be weaker, just like the rest of him is weaker, right?
But you're
saying it's not proportional to.
Yeah, I didn't think there was like a cosmic link between the powers that she is using and the powers that they have, like Havoc and like Havoc and the Living Monolith or something.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't think it's like that, and that's not explicitly stated here. It could just be convenient timing.
But that's okay. But that's how Rogue says she knows that the heroic thoughts were hers. She was like, I'm still thinking Storm's thoughts.
Powers anymore. So she's like, oh no, you're right. It is Storm she's like, being alive. That she's
Storm's like I've been awake for at least a minute, and she's like, oh, then those were my thoughts. God dang it.
Bad news for you, Rogue. No, they weren't. I don't think you know how your powers work.
Yeah, exactly. Why are we just assuming Rogue knows how her own powers work? Like, there's no reason for her to actually know that. Like, unironically, like, there's no reason why we should believe that she knows.
Well, Gyrich grabs his neutralizer gun and aims when Forge tackles him from behind. Forge is here. He got here just in the nick of time. The shot goes wild and strikes Storm instead of Rogue. It creates a discharge of energy so strong that the riverboat explodes and both women go tumbling into the water. Forge swims out to save a drowning Storm and pulls her to shore. When Gyrich tries to help him, Forge swats the man's hand away and lectures him on attacking heroes, potentially turning them into enemies.
And he says, "Oh, thank goodness all those boat crew are okay." Bullshit, dude. Come on.
No, they're fine, Matt.
We watched it fucking explode. We watched it explode in a giant... That was Jump Shumpy being like, hey, they all
nobody
lived,
can die
right?
here.
Yeah.
Also, there is a cliffhanger where the Dire Wraiths are watching and decide they have to kill Forge. Whatever.
I don't care. I don't care. I mean, it's going to like impact the story, I guess, but fucking, I don't care. I don't care about ROM Space Knight. I don't care about Dire Wraiths.
It's so funny. And we don't even okay, we'll get there. This is part of my final thoughts.
What are you thinking here when Storm loses her powers? I mean, I think you know now. So it's maybe not the fairest of questions. But so what try and imagine you're picking this comic book up. It's 1984.
Sure.
You're dead, but you're allowed to read a comic book anyway. God and the angels allow your spirit. No, do you really think Storm's powers are gone?
The reason, aside from it just being comic books and nothing ever being permanent, the reason that I didn't think so is they said like 3 or 4 times through this issue, this is untested. We're not sure what it will do. In the issue that we come up on, they even say like, not sure if the effects are permanent.
Right.
We don't know what this weapon actually does aside from it removes powers.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, well, as our listeners have pointed out before, at this time, there was no reason to think that things that happened in comics were never permanent, right? Like that standard hadn't been set yet. That might be our modern knowledge peeking through. But yeah, I think I would have just assumed, I would be like, oh my God, how does she get, I thought I would think this is a, how are they going to get out of this one?
Yeah.
Sort of situation. But why don't we keep reading and see what does happen if Storm's okay.
All right,
Pat. I want to tell you about Uncanny X-Men number 186.
Hell yeah, dude.
LIFEDEATH. Huh. Chris Claremont script, Barry Windsor-Smith pencils. Remember this guy?
Whoa, yes.
Last time we saw him was back in X-Men number 53, and his art was terrible.
It was not very good. It was going by Barry Smith at the time, right?
And we were not fans.
Right. And of course, we know him from the future when he'll be doing some very impactful X-Men stuff, right?
Yes. So so there's this, and then he does some impactful Wolverine stuff in the future too. So he's like a big, for such an inauspicious start, he ends up having this like massive impact on the world of the X-Men, and being like a mega talent. Also, it's such a strange. You would never have expected that from that weird Jack Kirby clone. Was that the Blast Star issue? Maybe.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a Blast Star issue. I remember reading the Blast, because I remember both things. I remember the Blast Star issue being so bad. Didn't we talk about that as the worst X-Men issue we ever read for like a really long time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that we've topped it.
I think,
well, as far as like poor quality goes.
Evil Green Xavier is up there.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Terry Austin's the inker. Glynis Ween and somebody named Shiel, I don't think we've seen that person yet, are the colorist. Tom Orzakowski's the letterer. Ann Nocenti's the editor. And Jam Slapper is the editor-in-chief. Release date, July 10th, 1984. Cover date, October 1984. Storm lies in a bedroom, eyes half open, emotionless. Enter Forge with soup and herbal tea. And Storm sits up and says, "Hey, this isn't your soup. That's not your hot broth."
How did you learn how to make this hot broth? God.
No, he's begging for her to eat something, anything, but her will is resolute for what's clearly not the first time. Forge storms out into his holographic penthouse. He uses the projections to reflect on his guilt. He replays what happened on the last issue on the walls around him. And when he reaches the part where he rescues Storm from drowning, she interrupts the illusion. "That was not a kindness," she says. "You should have let me drown." She's not feeling good. She's not adapting to this new lack of powers very well. I mean, it was her identity, you know?
The opening splash page is her on a bed, and then the next page we get 3 panels slowly zooming in on her, and we see that like she's not sleeping in the bed. She's just lying, eyes half open.
Yeah.
Kind of waiting to die.
And it's interesting. So like if Wolverine loses his powers, he's not gonna know how to do all the stuff he likes to do, but he's gonna be okay. If Nightcrawler loses his powers, he's gonna be bummed out, but he's not gonna be like, "I've lost who I am." If Colossus loses his powers, he's gonna quit the X-Men because he's gonna be like, "I'm useless to you all," but he's not going to.
He's not Colossus first.
But whereas for Storm, it is her identity that she is one with nature. She's one with the winds and the rain. And
yeah, the two are the same. It's like the, not to trudge too far down this path, but when you talk about like Superman is more Clark Kent than he is Superman. Superman is his alternate identity, whereas Batman is more Batman than he is Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce Wayne is the mask that he puts on. Spider-Man is both Peter Parker and Spider-Man at the same time. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Okay.
Of like, there's no separation of the identity. Yeah.
Right. And because she fully, I mean, again, like this is how she connects to herself and the world, right? Like her forms of meditation, right? Or communing with the winds. All right. So back at the mansion, Xavier is putting everything he has into Cerebro, trying to locate Storm. Despite being able to pinpoint any mutant on Earth, he can't find any sign of Storm at all. Huh. The X-Men fear the worst, so they finally decide to try and find Rogue. My backup prize.
Well, I guess Storm's dead. We might as well try to find Rogue.
Do we have to?
This theme continues of them being like, and Rogue.
And Rogue is becoming like better and better and more a part of this team and more of a hero and more of a cool person, and everyone, it's still like, do it.
Yeah.
Now there's also a bit when Forge is reliving the day before where he says, "Oh, thank God nobody was hurt in that boat." I'm getting so mad about this. Like, yes, they're all dead. Like my headcanon, to use a Tumblr-fied word, my headcanon is that they're all dead. They all died and everyone's lying.
Yeah, that boat blew up. And also, they were all catcalling Rogue immediately before.
Right.
That is a classic
guys in the movie die. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We cut back to Dallas, where Storm seems to have opened up to Forge a bit. She reflects on the skills she does still have, cheekily lifting the hologram controls from Forge's pocket.
Yeah. Cheeky.
But then a storm starts to roll in, and Ororo is reminded of what she's lost. She used to be able to feel the approaching storm, felt the resonation of its power, but now she can only watch. She turns away from the despair, though, and joins Forge for a swim. She's wearing a bathing suit.
She sure is. She mentions that she can't be nude anymore because her powers used to, I think it's interesting. Her powers used to condition her body for whatever weather it was in. So she never felt warm or cold. She was always just comfortable.
Imagine Kitty walking in on the scene and then going like, Storm, you're not nude? How could you? And just running out and crying.
I don't even know you anymore. You were supposed to be my mom.
My nude mom. When Storm steals Forge's little thing, he goes, my porta console.
If you're the only person that ever uses this, can't you come up with a better name for it?
Jeff! After a race, she takes notice of Forge's prosthetic leg and hand poolside. He explains how he lost.
That's not a revelation to us.
No, we know this. But it is interesting to see, like, okay, so he explains how he lost his limbs in Vietnam, reaching a low point himself, and even trying to kill himself. Maybe he can understand. I can see it. I can see that, right? Like, there's this moment where Storm is like, I'm like feeling so sorry for herself. I'm the only one who's ever gone through something like this. And it's true in a sense. But also, many people have gone through similar losses of things they felt like. I really strongly identify with my fucking leg, man.
Yeah. Honestly, it's a very Kitty Pryde lesson to learn of, like, she is feeling sorry for herself, assuming that her trauma is the worst in the world. And at this point, it might be. It might be. But
other people have undergone terrible things too.
Yeah.
They have felt the same about, right? Like, everybody, when they have a breakup, feels like this is the worst pain that anyone's ever felt. And who knows? It could be. I'm not in your brain.
Yeah, maybe it is the worst breakup.
But I felt like that when I had a breakup, right? So, like, these, I don't know, so, like, that shit's relative, right? Like, you can say, oh, all you lost was a hand and a leg. I lost my entire way of functioning and, like, my entire being. But it's like, Forge never had weather powers, right? So to him, it's as intense of a loss.
Yeah, and he keeps saying that, like, okay, so it sounds like you're just like regular people now.
Right.
It's also a good reminder at this point that Storm knows nothing about Forge.
Right.
Like, she's meeting him for the first time. She doesn't know what his business is, why necessarily he rescued her. He was just a person that was there and helped her and seems to be technologically skilled.
Absolutely. I wonder, and like, she cares so little about her own life, right? At this moment, that she doesn't even care that a stranger just, like, came and abducted her. She's like, whatever, fine. Okay, so back in Mississippi, Val Cooper updates her colleague Phil on the situation. Gyrick zapping the wrong mutant has had a lot of consequences that she now has to dig out of. Phil leaves her at the Ramada Inn, but as he gets in his car, he's met by a huge, grotesque, wormy creature with tentacles and claws. It extends its barbed tongue directly into his skull.
Ugh.
It's fucking wild.
It is. It's so gross.
It's
tentacles and claws.
Well, no, I'm saying when it sucks his life force out. His face caves in. It sucks out his life force. It becomes him. He's a wraith now. Back in her room. Yeah.
We never get, it's so rare. We don't get a last name for Phil. Just Phil.
Just Phil. Wait, no, we do. Because I was wondering if it was Phil Coulson. It was. So in the next scene, he goes to see Val Cooper. She's like frantically knocking at her door. She has to throw on her robe. And she must be like, dude, okay, don't stop trying. Like, are you here to like hit on me?
Yeah.
But somewhere in that scene, she says his last name. Phil Rosen.
Oh, he does get a last name.
Yes, he gets a last name. Phil Rosen.
Damn it.
I know. I'm sorry. The guy at the door is so the guy that was banging on her door. It's Phil. He's brought two wraiths. Phil Rosen. He's brought two wraiths along with him to suck out her life force and become her too. But before they can tongue her brain, a heroic "No, she won't, suckers" rings out. Rogue is here to rescue Val Cooper.
What?
She punches the wraith and it goes chunt.
Chunt.
She kicks it chunt. The sound of kicking a wraith is chunt. She beats the shit out of the wraiths and struggles briefly with becoming one of them when she makes skin-to-skin contact. Xavier makes contact with her at that moment, bringing the X-Men up to speed on the dire situation. But Rogue chokes it down and catches up to an escaping Val Cooper, revealing why she came in the first place. She absorbs Val's memories, learning what happened to Storm and who forges. It's time to loop in the X-Men.
So it was the beginning of this issue that Xavier was like, all right, I guess we should try to track down Rogue. It has been hours.
Yeah, they're not trying very hard. Valerie, this is Muty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's evil, dude.
She sucks. Yeah. All right, so back in Dallas, Storm looks over the clothes that Forge has had delivered to his place for her. Among them, she finds an elegant gown, trying it on as she wonders what Forge would think of it. She walks out in the dress, looking stunning, but being stunned, Forge can only stare in shock. It's like it's like when you watch an anime, the way that like there's no one, boys and girls can never just like say stuff to each other. They're always like and it causes massive problems between them, and yet
it's a very funny exchange because Forge has sort of been saying the wrong thing at every turn, trying to comfort her. And here she is like showing off in an elegant dress.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what? And she says, Forge, you're staring. And he says, well, what did you expect?
Oh my God. Yeah, he's not really... Not the smoothest dude.
No. Also, he's not as hot as he was the last time we saw him. When we first met Forge, he was a big man. He was like broad-shouldered. He had thighs that were as thick as a Labrador.
Like, yeah, the old saying, thighs as thick as a Labrador.
Thighs as thick as a Labrador. I was trying to think of a realistic size comparison. And now he's just normal sized. He's like Cyclops sized, baby.
Yeah, he's got that slim, muscular look.
Anyway.
Ororo interprets this silence as disapproval and runs back to her room humiliated, chiding herself for trying to impress him like a foolish child. She returns in overalls and nothing underneath, which Forge somehow finds less intimidating.
I gotta say, this outfit is intimidating.
They have a conversation, awkward at first, but it turns friendly, even flirty over some curry. Wait, this isn't your curry? Where'd you learn to make this curry? Over some curry and champagne. Storm just chugs the champagne, by the way.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not what you're supposed to do. And she's like, I've never done it before.
For sipping.
They both open up and talk about their struggles and backgrounds, although Forge is dodgy about his Cheyenne heritage. Ororo even shares the experience of watching her parents die when missiles leveled her home, a story that she never shared with anyone. After this, she fully opens up to him about her loss of power, how implicitly tied to her oneness with nature was to her emotional state, even as she veered into her more rebellious phase. What does this mean now? What's left of her identity? Forge comforts her, and the two kiss.
Ooh.
Big smooch. Forge takes this moment to offer to examine and try to fix her, which he doesn't exactly find romantic.
Yeah. Once again, it's him just saying the exact wrong thing, which is like, I could fix you.
Right.
After you kiss for the first time. You draw back your face, you look her in the eyes, you both have that little glow about you, and then you say, I could fix you.
It's very Reed Richards, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Like, just focused on solutions rather than... Before the action can pick back up, the phone rings. Forge opts to take the call downstairs, and Ororo finally remembers she hasn't told anyone she's safe, but when she picks up the phone to call the professor, Forge is still on the line. Pat, can you explain to our younger listeners?
Yeah, so... If you don't know, landline phones were usually connected to a single line, right?
Yeah.
Unless you were pretty tech savvy, you could actually, in the 80s, pretty easily set up a second line that if you're taking secure phone calls, no one else can accidentally listen in on. But
like if you take calls from the president and the Pentagon and stuff, like for instance. Okay.
But assuming we're not dealing with a technologically advanced man here.
Yeah, somebody who doesn't really know tech that well.
You might have multiple phones connected to the same line, right? And that means that if the line is busy on one of those phones and you pick up another one of those phones, you're going to hear that conversation. If you go back and watch some sitcoms from the 80s and 90s, you might see people like spying on phone conversations taking place in their homes this way. Like they go up to another phone and they very, very quietly pick it up and listen in on the conversation.
Yeah, you hold down the little button, the little receiver button, the button that when it's down, when it's pressed in, the phone is off.
Yeah.
Like the line's not connected. And when you release the button
very slowly,
yes, then they can't hear you pick it up.
Yeah, you can only silently connect to the phone call.
Unless the phone that you're picking up is of worse quality than the one they are on, and then they will hear like the chalking of static across the line, and they'll immediately know, and they'll be like, Matt, and you'll be like, and I'll hang up the phone.
God, how fucking old are we, dude?
She hears on this line the voice of Henry Peter Gyrick on the other end, explaining that everything has gone to shit. They found Val Cooper catatonic, clearly the work of Rogue, and with Storm having been the victim, the X-Men are likely to take action. He wants her moved to a federal facility under his watch. But Forge explains that she trusts him, and as the designer of the weapon that removed her powers, he's best equipped to care for her.
Imagine.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up. Just like, again, she doesn't know anything about this man except that he has sort of nursed her back to mental health, and she's revealed her biggest secrets to him.
And now he's saying shit like he's like, let me examine you closer. And she must be, suddenly that throws that into suspicion. Like, oh, am I
a whole new perspective?
Was this whole thing just like, are you, even when he says she trusts me, we know, because we've been in his head a little bit, that he's being sincere.
Yeah.
About
but
it.
To
like,
her, it sounds like, oh, I've fooled her into trusting me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So shocked, she can't help but shout as she starts running for an exit, but Forge is a step ahead of her. She's in a maze of holograms within a 5-story penthouse. In desperation, she calls out to her goddess for help, and a bolt of lightning from the storm outside strikes the building directly.
Prayer works.
Yeah, how did you
always
interpret
say,
this?
Matt.
Prayer works. Prayer works. How did you interpret this? Like, it was just by chance, or do you think she has there's powers still buried inside her that still work?
A third thing, actually. I thought she really I thought this was her pact with her god or goddess. Coming to life here, that she was like, look, I served you when I had my powers. It's all I'm asking in return for all those years of service and the continued years that I will serve you however I can moving forward. Please just help me find a way out of here.
Interesting. So I interpreted this as, it's not, Storm's not powerless.
Thinks real hard. She can summon her powers. Very realistic, Matt.
Like Storm.
Pretty sure it was God.
Storm is she's not powerless forever, is how I interpreted this. There's something. There's still a fragment of power deep inside of her. I think I interpreted this as Storm will get her powers back one day, but it's going to be like a journey.
It's almost that life or death reaction that a lot of people have as their first experience with their mutant power.
Right, exactly. Like it severed the links in her brain between like whatever muscle she exercises to, like she tenses to make lightning happen, and the conscious thought of doing it. And so like both exist still, they just don't connect. Anyway, the holograms disappear and rain starts pouring in from the hole that the lightning made as Forge and Ororo stand and face each other. Forge begs for understanding. His weapon wasn't meant to be used in this way, not without his say-so. But he should have known this kind of use was inevitable, she counters. And she's fucking right. You don't make a power taker gun without thinking that, and then give it to the fucking government.
The government.
Without thinking the government is going to use it to take a power. He reveals to her that he's a mutant too. His technical mind makes him uniquely qualified to help fix her, but she assumes that's a lie. And with what she knows now, she explains she could only consider staying here imprisonment. When he reaches out to her, she cold cocks him. Very satisfying punch. And walks off, berating him on her way out the door. She vows that without his help, she will one day fly again. And I think in this moment, what she means is, because she says, my feet may never leave the ground, but someday I shall fly again. So she means I still have my humanity. I have lost this thing, and you've helped me find that I am still, without this power, I'm still Storm. I still have the beliefs that I have. I still have the personality I have. I still have the integrity that I have. And you know what I've just seen in you, you pathetic little man, is that you have none of that. You will never fly because you don't even know yourself.
Yes. Yeah, she eviscerates him.
Yeah.
And it really does help her feel better about herself.
So you can tell there's a lot of thematic parallels here. First, both of these two people have been through something traumatic, and they are both looking for like solace in each other. Forge seems to think that something that happened to him that took his leg way back in the day. We get just a glimpse of that when she
in Vietnam.
It's something happened in Vietnam, and we get he seems to think that if he can make up for this mistake by Storm loving him, maybe that makes up for whatever's in his past, right?
Yeah.
And it can make him whole again. And Storm, who feels, again, like she just lost who she is, also feels like maybe the love of this guy, this man, can fill in that hole. And both of them have it sort of violently ripped from them as the truth kind of comes out.
Yeah, it is Forge's big thing here is like the message that Chris Claremont is hitting us in the head with here is that Forge doesn't want to do the work, right? He just wants to do his job, and he's not concerned. When I say the work, he doesn't want to do the work of the mutant movement.
Okay,
he's supportive of it, but that's not going to stop him from making enough money to live in a 5-story penthouse by selling anti-mutant weapons to the government. Right. Interesting. And that is the opposite of Storm. Storm even says, like, hey, what I see in you is a version of myself if I had gone down a different path, meaning if I just didn't give a shit about people, then yeah, maybe you and I would be a little more alike.
Right. And yeah, so she's saying like, I guess mutant powers aren't what does it, man. Just having mutant powers isn't enough to make you kind of like,
it doesn't make you heroic innately.
Right.
You still need to.
And by seeing a person who still has their powers be something that she doesn't want to be, it helps her define what she does want to be. Yes. Without them. And like, also, powers didn't make me. It was this other thing.
This must have also been rightfully devastating to Forge here.
Right.
Where his sort of last grasp at keeping her around is to say, I'm a mutant. Like, my brain is what makes me a mutant, which is also why I'm the only person that can save you here. And she looks at him and says, another lie. That had to cut him to the core a little bit.
Right. He's okay. So if he's never identified with mutant kind in this way, and he's finally using that to try and connect with this woman who he's fallen in love with, who is slipping away from him, and it's not enough. He's rejected by that community, not because of their exclusionary nature, but because he fucked up.
Well, there's that, but also she straight up doesn't believe him here. Like, she has no reason to say, oh yeah, you're a mutant, you're on my side. Like, it seems like he is just desperately saying anything he can to convince her to continue voluntarily being imprisoned.
Right. Well, that's life death.
I wonder how that's life death.
That's life death. That's they you didn't put this in your recap, but Ford shrugs at the camera at the end of the issue and says, "That's life death," and that's why it's called that.
That's just life death sometimes.
life
death is just like that.
Life death comes at you fast, and you got to be ready for it.
I wonder if they'll resolve any of this, Matt.
Nah, probably not. Ever.
Let's find out. In Uncanny X-Men number 187.
All right, if you say so.
Police code for homicide.
Is that true?
Wraithkill.
How do you know that?
187 on a motherfucking cop.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
How do I know that? From music. Chris Claremont, writer, John Romita Jr., and Dan Green, artists, Tom Warzakowski, letterer, Glynis Ween, colorist, Ann Nocenti, editor, and Jim Shammer, editor-in-chief. Release date August 7th, 1984. Cover date November 1984. Storm storms out into the storm, away from Eagle Plaza, where she hears an alarm go off behind her. She can't see through the rain, but the dire wraiths have penetrated the building's security. She decides to keep walking when one sneaks up on her and attacks. She manages to fight it off and flees back into the building, the wraith hot on her heels until its head suddenly explodes. Naze is there, rifle in hand. I do remember him.
Remember that guy? He was the guy who, for like a half a page, was like, "You're turning your back on your people, Forge."
Yeah. Clearly some sort of important man.
Use your magic
Forge's
powers
tribe.
again. Forge is like, "No, I won't."
Not also cool as hell for him to show up with a rifle. I love I love that among all these superpowered folks, we also just have one man running around with a gun.
One really old man.
Yeah. Naze is a Cheyenne shaman who saw in a dream that Forge was in danger and came to help, as he still believes Forge is the last hope of his people. When they can't raise him on the phone and they discover the elevators aren't working, they decide to climb the elevator shafts to get to him.
This is some good John Romita Jr. art and some responsible Chris Claremont storytelling where they're having a dialogue about, like, they're trying to figure out the wraiths. They're trying to figure out how both of them know Forge. And Ororo picks up the phone, doesn't say anything about it, right? And then they go to the elevator and they press a button. And they don't say anything about the elevator not working. They just open the hatch at the top and start climbing through.
Yeah.
And it's like, fucking Claremont, why don't you do this? I mean, at the same time, they're being way overly wordy. And they go through this sequence of Wolverine teaching Storm how to shoot a gun.
Yeah. Don't think they're not talkative.
Why have that scene? Why?
To literally set up a Chekhov's gun here to say, don't forget, Storm has a gun that she might fire exactly once.
She could just say, all she has to do is pick up the gun. We don't need to know that she has some gun training too. Like, this is so weird. Anyway.
Also, it's from Wolverine, which is believable, but at the same time, is he the most gun likely character that we have?
I know. Well, anyway, it's cool that he does some of these things without dialogue and without captions.
Yes. Yeah. But he balances it out with extra dialogue. When they enter the elevator shaft, a wraith is waiting for them. It attacks Storm, and Naze blasts it to hell. Again, very cool. Another one appears from the floor above them, uses its magic.
I guess they have magic.
To cut an elevator cable and wrap it around Storm's leg, yanking her up into the air. She frees herself just before the cable smashes her into the ceiling. Naze reaches the top floor of the elevator and leaps out into the darkness. Sensing the dire wraiths hiding around him, he fires wildly into the dark. Meanwhile, Storm emerges on one of the plaza's rooftops only to find a blizzard outside. This shouldn't happen in Texas during whatever season this is. She's immediately grabbed by the dire wraith's spells, but it turns out they can't hold them for very long in the freezing cold, so another one runs out to attack her. She whacks it with a pipe and instinctively tries to jump off the roof and fly away. But thank God she's saved by an updraft.
Another updraft! Number 4?
Sure. and makes her way back inside the building. Somehow, suddenly, her mind is merged with Forge, Naze, and a wraith, and she collapses in pain. I have very little idea how this happens, and
I don't know.
Things get a little murky from here. But she collapses in pain. So does Forge, actually, up in his eyrie. The wraiths take advantage and close in, but his automatic weapon systems blast them all. Next thing he knows, Storm is standing there in front of him. He scans her to find that she's human, and she asks him what the fuck just happened to their brains, but he says he doesn't know. She believes he's lying, but they're interrupted as they have to shoot a bunch more dire wraiths. One pulls a trick, posing as her and trying to get Forge to shoot it, but he uses his magic powers for a second to shoot the correct Ororo. Right. We also learn in that moment that he truly doesn't know what happened with that weird mind link.
He truly doesn't know. He wasn't lying. He does not know. He knows more than he's let on, but it's like the fact that Naze is still alive makes him go, oh, then I don't know what that mind link is.
Yes. Yeah. Which I don't know why that's the tip off for him, but just so you know what the characters understand.
Exactly. He's like, we were caught in a soul link. If nothing happened to Naze, then what triggered?
Then,
right at that moment,
the X-Men show up.
Yay!
Rogue and Colossus start kicking alien ass while Naze sneaks off to do something in the top of Forge's tower.
He's just like in a ring and he's like, ha, I'm here. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. And he's, oh, wow, it's such a holy place, apparently.
Also, Rogue.
The top floor of the penthouse is a sacred sanctuary.
Yeah. Well, we will learn more about this, but anyway. Rogue bursts in saying, surprise, suckers. Or gangway suckers. Did Claremont just learn the word suckers? Because
everybody's saying it.
It's within like 3 months that he has like he uses the word suckers at least 4 times. Maybe 5.
Everywhere in Kitty Pryde and Wolverine. Everyone is saying it.
Right. And now Rogue said it
in Japan.
2 issues in a row. Like everyone's saying suckers. I think his like niece or something said suckers, and he's like, oh, suckers. Okay. I like that word. I'll use it.
Forge uses his image projectors to trick the Wraiths into thinking that Rom and his girlfriend Starshine are here, and uses the distraction to blast the hell out of them.
Okay.
But despite beating the last of the Wraiths, another threat emerges as some tear in reality opens and weird shadow things grab all 4 mutants.
Oh no.
To be continued. Do you think it was awkward for Rogue when Rom appeared with his girlfriend in the room? Because there was so much sexual tension between them the last time they met.
I forgot about that. She doesn't even react to it. Like that issue of her in ROM is such a massive turning point for her as a character.
It is. And also, they're in love with each other in that. Like, they part ways being like, I've never felt about another being this way. She can touch him. She can touch him without hurting him.
So weird. That's so weird. It's so weird. That's part of her story. Couple things. Naze at one point comments on how he would love to be with Storm, how she's beautiful and a goddess.
Oh, yes.
And it's like,
yeah.
Okay. Another dude wishing they could bone Ororo. This is, now we have Dr. Doom, Dracula, Forge,
count all of them. Okay,
Professor X, Naze.
Who did they?
Did Peter Corbeau say something like that once?
Maybe. I know they teamed up with someone recently, and one of the guys was flirting with her, and she was kind of like very coyly, like, "Oh, good luck, pal."
Right. It's just.
I don't remember what the context there was.
Claremont is just so horny for her. And he puts it in every dude's mouth.
Yeah.
Well,
also, better her than the teenagers.
When she's in the elevator, she has Yukio thoughts. When her leg gets wrapped up in the cable and it like pulls her up.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is fun. I might die, but I probably won't. And I'm having fun.
Well, it really, now she has the same powers that Yukio does, right? Which
is nothing.
None. She actually might die from this.
Yeah.
It's very cool. I love this. Even Powerless, I love this Storm era.
All right, Pat, do you want me to tell you about Uncanny X-Men number 188?
Desperately.
It's called Legacy of the Lost, and it's by Chris Claremont, who writes it, and John Romita Jr. and Dan Green, who arts it.
Yes.
Glynis Wein colors it, Tom Orzechowski letters it, and Nesenti editors it. And, I don't know, Jeff Sheff, editor-in-chiefs it. Release date, September 11th, 1984. Cover date, never forget. Cover date, December 1984.
Not our first September 11th reference, or not our only September 11th reference
in this episode. Or, man, it just keeps coming up somehow. It came up last episode, too. Rogue, Colossus, Ororo, and Forge try to fight against the shadow beings grasping him, but there's no physical form to fight. Thinking fast, Ororo shoots off Forge's prosthetic leg, freeing him to hop to safety. Recognizing the beings as mystical, he frantically starts calling for Naze's help. But Naze is in Forge's top floor sanctuary, performing a ritual to summon a great spirit, offering it the world and everyone on it in exchange for his help. But his wards start to break down as a spirit appears to him, mocking him. You ask for what I do not give and offer that which I already possess, it tells him, before revealing that while he's fought Naze's form before, his soul appears alien.
Huh?
He's a dire wraith. This is our only a moment to notice this, because even that is just, you can kind of tell it in John Romita's art as Naze dies.
And so
no one addresses it ever again.
So what we're to understand here is that Naze isn't actually Naze. This is a dire wraith that became Naze and is trying to use his mystic knowledge to summon a great spirit to Earth.
Because dire wraiths also have mystic knowledge, so I guess it's like a combination. And last issue, when Forge was like, oh, I don't know how that soul link happened, Naze's still alive. I guess now we know how the soul link happened, even if we don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I also don't know why Naze being dead would have made any difference, but
I don't. Because all we know is that there's a thing called a soul link, and usually it only happens when a guy dies. And again, never addressed again. So don't worry about any of this. Regardless, the Great Spirit takes the soul. I'm sure this will be important at some point, says Patrick.
Yeah, it seems like whatever happened here,
yes,
will have some impact down the line. There's a Great Spirit involved now.
Correct, but I don't think. But that doesn't.
Not today.
Yeah,
not going to be important today.
And we don't know pretty much anything about any of the stuff we just talked about, like what a soul link is, what that Naze was a fucking dire wraith at the time, like all that's nothing, I think.
Yeah.
Unless I just didn't pay attention on my first read through. But across town at the airport, Nightcrawler bamfs his way onto a stranded plane, then grabs flight attendant Amanda Sefton and teleports them up to the Blackbird flying above.
Did we know she was a flight attendant?
We did know. We knew.
We did? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
There's a guy holding his nose as they bamf away too. It's funny. Yeah, and Amanda's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm working. What? And he's like, no time for this now. They fly. You're a witch, and we need a witch. They fly back to the penthouse, and Amanda Sefton is in the fray. She uses her spells to strike at the shadow beings, releasing the X-Men from their grasp, but it's too late for Rogue. She can't restrain the wraith form she absorbed and fully transforms into one herself. She immediately tries to tongue Colossus's brain, and he can't think of a way to stop her without harming her. But just then, from a floating light disc above the fray, Ilyana Rasputin leaps down with her eldritch blade and slices through Rogue, tearing the wraith form from around her and returning her to human form.
Oh, it's such a good moment.
Colossus is like, what the fuck? Because he knows nothing about Ileana. He doesn't know that Ileana has powers. He doesn't know that Ileana has a soul sword.
He doesn't know she's a mutant, let alone knowing she's also got incredible mystic powers.
Yeah, that she's a sorceress with a soul sword. No one even knows what a soul sword is. Also,
she is like, I guess I'm revealing this to my brother, and she's worried about the way that he'll react, like, to the news that she's a mutant, which is, heartbreaking.
Later,
there have to be like, I know he's a mutant, but what if he doesn't like mutants?
Later, when they talk about it, he's got this is credit to John Romita Jr. Colossus has such a look of pride and just like amusement on his face. Like, you went and became a sorceress? Holy shit.
What a world. What a time to be alive.
It's very, very cute. Anyway, across the room, Amanda does her best to restrain the shadow beings, but they're overpowering her. There must be another wraith somewhere augmenting their power. Ororo knows where. It's the wraith she thought she left to die in the cold. Kurt teleports Forge up to the roof, and to Kurt's dismay, they kill the damn thing. Problem solved.
Poor Kurt. It's a heartbreaking moment where they find the wraith, and the wraith's like, fuck you. Kill me if you need to, but fuck you.
And Forge is like, okay. And Kurt's like,
well, what are we going to do? And Forge has to say, we're going to kill it, dude. We kill these things.
He calls him foolish.
But it breaks him up inside.
I know. In the wreckage of Forge's penthouse, Peter and Ileana... Oh, there's also a fucking cool ass scene where Amanda Sefton is holding back this shadow being, and Ileana is leaping over top of all the X-Men, who, like, the X-Men are down on the ground. And Ileana is leaping over top with the soul sword, both-handed over her. It rules.
It does, but the very next frame, she's being catapulted back.
Yeah.
It was not a successful attack.
In the wreckage of Forge's penthouse, Peter and Ileana talk about the revelation that she has both mutant and mystical powers. Forge finds Naze dead in his temple and wonders why he kept a sanctum here in the first place. And the X-Men leave as Storm tells Forge to make sure he and his government goons don't try to follow or find them. Cut to the Bermuda Triangle, where Elitas Forrester and her first mate Paolo, remember that guy tried to start a fight with Cyclops?
Yes. He was very nearly in the loser league, but here he is again. He's not eligible anymore.
Lee and Paolo spot a man being attacked by sharks in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
She hops from the boat to rescue him, noting that his heavy red and purple heavy red and purple chainmail armor is the only thing that prevented the sharks from eating him.
How fortunate.
He comes to, and the two recognize each other. It's Magneto. It's just
Magneto.
Just a fucking shark swimming past with Magneto in its mouth.
So, yes. Couple things. Did we know that he wears chainmail? Chainmail that can float?
We knew that is, well, I think, okay, we know that his armor is made of metal because that's how he can...
Makes sense.
Pull it off and on, and that's how he can fly. But the dialogue's kind of confusing here because it seems like maybe they're trying to say, like, oh, he's wearing metal, he's going to drown, but at least it saved him from the shark. But...
Okay, sure. Yeah, he would have drowned. I guess it can't really float. The shark was just keeping his head above water for him.
Yeah, it was a very strong shark.
Other thing.
Yeah.
Last time we saw Magneto, if anyone doesn't remember, it was during the Demon Bear saga, right? When Warlock is flying in from space and crashes through Asteroid M.
Yes.
So my understanding here is that he fell from orbit and landed square in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, and then a shark ate him. But, I remember you and Steven in that episode were talking about, like, Why did they? Yeah, what the fuck? And I was like, it'll come back. I know it seems implausible, but it'll come back. Yeah, I mean,
just plummeted to Earth.
Asteroid M is destroyed, and yeah, fucking Magneto's in the drink. Back at the mansion, Kurt and Ororo share a tender moment as Ororo explains that she'll be leaving the X-Men and figuring out what the next phase of her life is. She seems to be at peace with the decision.
Yeah.
Kurt asks her, as her last act as a leader, to attend the team meeting he's called. Downstairs, the New Mutants try to listen in on the meeting from outside the study, and Xavier senses and dismisses them, but Rachel stays behind, opting to shield herself from his psychic probes instead. Do you think Claremont intended Rachel Summers to be in the New Mutants at first? Because she keeps hanging around with New Mutants, and she debuted in New Mutant. Like, she appeared. She came back to the present in New Mutants.
She first appeared there. She also told the story of how she got there.
Right. And
so it seems like they were trying to establish her to New Mutants readers, but then
she becomes an X-Men.
Immediately got involved with the X-Men.
Yeah, and I mean, even here, when she's with the X-Men, she's always with the New Mutants at the same time, right?
Yes. It's just that the rest of them get sent away.
Right. And I mean, and then in the next issue, she's hanging out with Magma. Spoilers. That's not a spoiler.
Spoiler for 10 minutes from now.
In the study, Kurt goes off. What is the point of any of them remaining X-Men? They don't seem to have made a difference. The world hates them. What purpose do they even serve? Could the Avengers or the FF, who the world appreciates, just handle the threats they've been tackling? The school is necessary as a haven and a training center for young mutants, but Kurt doesn't see why he shouldn't just go live his life for himself. Storm and Banshee have been maimed. Thunderbird and Jean Grey killed. A psychic scream rings out. And the X-Men all cry out in pain. Rachel, just outside the study, can't help herself after hearing that Jean Grey is dead. She bursts in the room, telekinetically raises Kurt to the ceiling, and demands he admits he's lying. It can't be true. That's her mother.
What?
When she regains control, she apologizes and explains the fate of the X-Men in her future. She begs Kurt not to quit. The X-Men represent a dream for mutant kind, and if anything can prevent her future from coming to pass, it's keeping that dream alive. Storm throws a "with great power comes great responsibility" at him, and he relents. Everyone shares a big group hug.
With great power must also come great responsibility is the line. Storm has clearly been watching Spider-Man 2001.
So the way that Rachel tries to convince everybody, at least at first, is she's like, you can't give up. In my future, you think you have it bad. In my future, mutants are all hunted and killed, and they enslaved me, and everything is even worse than it is now. And Kurt's like, you're proving my point.
That's my point. Yeah, she's like, in my future, all of the X-Men are dead.
And Kurt's like,
okay, so I shouldn't be an X-Man.
Yeah, this is exactly what he's saying, dude.
But she does turn it around.
Yeah.
All the X-Men get their own little moment to be like, oh, geez, the future sounds shitty.
So the end of the issue, we cut to New York City, the fish market, for an epilogue where a fish worker named Jaime Rodriguez finds himself strangely drawn to one of the fish in the crate he's unloading. He picks it up, opens it, and finds an amulet on a gold chain. What's more, it's offering him limitless power if he obeys it. Pat,
what?
Jaime Rodriguez is here.
My favorite guy.
You're always talking about Jaime Rodriguez.
Stop saying it. You're going to hurt your throat if you keep saying it like that.
How do you say it?
Jaime?
How am I saying it?
I would say Jamie, but I know the proper pronunciation is Jaime. You're saying Jaime.
Well, I'm German.
There's a moment here where John Romita Jr. has to redraw, like Chris Claremont has Rachel explain to the X-Men
right
everything that happened, and we already saw Bill Sienkiewicz draw this out in New Mutants, and John Romita Jr. has to redraw it to put it in an X-Men comic.
Yeah.
I like what John Romita Jr. is doing here. I appreciate the turn that his work is taking. He does not measure up to Bill Sienkiewicz. He shouldn't have to. Nobody expects him to, but
he's no Billy Sienkiewicz. Yeah.
Seeing them next to each other back to back, it was like, oh, you did not nail this one.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, should we wrap this episode up with our reading of Uncanny X-Men number 189, Two Girls Out to Have Fun?
I guess so.
All right. Chris Claremont, writer. John Romita Jr., penciler. Steve Leahola, guest inker. Tom Orzechowski, letterer. Glynis Wein, colorist. Ann Nocenti, editor. And Jim Pimple, editor-in-chief.
Steve Leahola is here.
Steve Leahola is here.
We're gonna see more of him in New Mutants.
We're gonna get to know him.
Yeah.
Cool. Release date October 9th, 1984. Cover date January 1985. Big year, Matt.
Why?
I don't know. Amara Aquila and Rachel Summers are out for a day on the town, starting with the Statue of Liberty.
Oh.
As they look over the city, Rachel thinks back to her days in the future past where she was made into a hound, forced to hunt other mutants for the tyrannical government. Amara notices tears in her eyes, but doesn't know how to get Rachel to open up. So this happens after the events of Days of Future Past, right? This thing where she is a hound.
No,
this happens before that.
I think this happens before that.
I think what they're trying to do, correct me if I'm wrong, but what they're trying to do is say, like, hey, even though this isn't necessarily the X-Men that we know's future,
right?
It all seeds from the same timeline branching out into different, like this, it almost like it wasn't a situation where the X-Men would be capable of stopping Days of Future Past in Rachel's timeline. They just prevented it from coming to pass in their own timeline.
I think specifically the fact that Days of Future Past happened. If I'm, maybe this is what you're saying and I'm not grasping, but the fact that Days of Future Past happened stopped Days of Future Past timeline from occurring. But because it's multiversal,
there's still a universe where, so this isn't necessarily the Days of Future Past timeline. This might be that we know. This might be another timeline where Days of Future Past comes to pass.
The same thing could happen, right? We see some echoes of Days of Future Past, like the anti-mutant registration bill or whatever. But this is not the same timeline as Days of Future Past.
Right. So
we know that because Mystique did not kill Robert Kelly.
And Rachel still comes from a future where Mystique successfully did kill Senator Kelly.
Correct. In Mystique's future, in Rachel's future, Mystique killed Senator Kelly. Storm never got a haircut.
Right.
Ileana never went
aged naturally.
Yeah. And we'll have to, maybe we should look back on that, maybe for like a bonus episode or a Puffy Faffin or whenever we finally do our, when we do our story so far, we can look at that. Like, why would these things not have happened if Days of Future Past hadn't happened? What happens in Days of Future Past that makes it so that Ileana goes to limbo? You know?
Yeah. There's a lot of,
All right.
Yeah. There's so many branches. That's what I'm trying to get straight here.
But you put something in the notes here that is so fucking funny, which is they open this issue on Amara Aquila and Rachel Summers the two most confusing characters in this whole thing.
This would be a tough pill to swallow if you're starting your X-Men journey here.
All right, let me explain to you Nova Roma. It's this, it's in the middle of the Amazon. There were some Roman people from the time of Julius Caesar and then this other girl, she comes from the future, but not our future.
She comes from a different future. She's also psychic because she's actually the child of people that are from the present. One of whom is dead.
That's another thing. How did Jean Grey live?
Why didn't she become the Dark Phoenix in Days of Future Past?
Or did she, and she just didn't die? It's hard to know.
It's actually the timeline that Chris Claremont wanted them to have, where Jean Grey just goes back to normal and they live a normal life.
Yeah.
Across the river, the X-Men throw a small party for Ororo Munroe as she boards a giant cruise ship to take her across the Atlantic.
She's chugging champagne again.
She is. Professor X says the exact same thing Forge says, which is, that's meant to be sipped.
And she's like, let me have another, please.
Very good, yeah. Aurora's not sure she's making the right decision, but wants to leave before Kitty and Logan return home. Elsewhere on the docks, Jaime Rodriguez catches some dude snooping around his locker where he put that fancy necklace he found. He plans to sell it to buy his kids some school books, but he's growing anxious. The amulet keeps talking to him, asking for his soul, and if he doesn't sell it soon, he fears he'll say yes. It's so bizarre. This seems like it's building to something cool, but just seeing like just a dock worker.
Yeah.
Constantly thinking about his kids and like what he's gonna do with them this weekend, and then turning to this amulet, and the amulet being like, "Sell me your soul, I'll
murder,
give you power,
murder."
It's like, shut up. I got a mortgage to pay. Amara and Rachel are still sightseeing, touring the Roman baths exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, when Rachel catches a familiar psychic glimpse. She runs outside to see a limo, and inside she knows is Selene. Again?
Yeah, okay. This is, all right. First of all, when they're in the Roma baths exhibit, I'm still so skeptical of the Nova Roma thing. Okay, so like, first of all, why did it stay the same for 1,000 years? I'm still mad about this. Why?
Yeah, why did your society never evolve?
Yeah. But second of all, she's like, they go in and Amara's like, oh man, this makes me feel right at home. This is exactly, it's like I'm back in Nova Roma. But it's like, all right, what are the chances that the museum got the look of a Roman bath so absolutely correct that somebody from ancient Rome would be like, yes, this is exactly it. And imagine if someone were to perfectly recreate the structure of like a YMCA pool 600 years from now.
Okay. Yeah.
And we go there and they manage to do it. Somehow they manage to get it exactly right. They look at old pictures and they whatever. But there's still, like, we're going to get in there and we're going to be like, oh, well, anytime I was in a YMCA, like, it smelled like chlorine. And that was, like, the main sensory thing I was experiencing. It was always misty. Also,
where's the shitty pool equipment? Everything's immaculate here.
There were weird posters on the wall. There was always water in weird pools on the floor. The floor was always uneven. Also, there were towels and posters and shit that wouldn't have, like, this ancient Rome stuff wouldn't have survived archaeologically. So there's no way we would walk into that room and go, a YMCA pool. Somebody would have to tell us and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is kind of how it looked. But that's what I assume.
There's no way you walk into the exhibit at the art museum and say, this is exactly what my house looked like.
Yes, absolutely. And I think everybody I felt like everybody in anthropology and history and, I feel like everybody kind of knows that. Like, this is an approximation. It probably didn't look anything like this in real life. This is just the closest we can get.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Apparently,
we also learn here, and we might have already known this, but it seems like the inciting incident for Nova Roma was plotting to kill Julius Caesar. That I think was the turning point. They were
right. Like
Julius Caesar sucks. We don't want to kill him, so we're just going to go off and start our own society where politics just remain the same all the time, and our culture does too. Everything just stays the same
for 1,000 million years.
Implying that the murder of Julius Caesar is what brought about the societal advancement.
That's a good point.
Anyway, the two of them, Amara, of course, recognizing the name Selene, the two of them follow her limo when it pulls up to a fancy mansion, and they both sneak in the servants' entrance, disguising themselves as very frilly, stereotypical maids, when their boss, wearing a frilly, old-timey cravat, summons them upstairs.
I wonder I wonder who these people are. I wonder what's in this mansion.
The real giveaway is that they have maid outfits, and they are extremely revealing. Not only that, but they have tight black chokers as part of the maid costume. It's like, okay,
all right, this is Hellfire.
Colonial and also extremely sexual.
Yeah, they're 100% Hellfire. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, it turns out this is the Hellfire Club, and Selene is the top candidate for their new Black Queen.
Ooh.
To demonstrate her power, she grabs Sebastian Shaw with the floor, shatters his chair, and then repairs it again with her control over inorganic matter.
Oh, so she has control over inorganic matter, Patrick. Like wood? Like wood? She has control over wood? The inorganic matter of wood?
Oh, yeah. Maybe it was a stone throne. It wasn't.
It was painted like wood. Painted to it's almost like sitting on real wood, but it's also stone.
She ignores like 75% of the powers we've seen her use here. It's like, here's my one thing. While Sebastian Shaw wonders what her whole game is, she disappears, promising a gift.
Okay.
And Tessa is there too.
Oh, good.
She's been here the whole time. Just more or less offering commentary.
Yeah, she just basically gives she's like, I wonder, she must be up to something, Sebastian. Okay, yeah, we kind of got that. Good thing we have your computer brain here to help us.
Also, this is the funniest thing to me, and this is what Tessa actually explains. Selene is like, let me get you a gift to prove that I'm worthy of the title of Black Queen.
Right.
And appears to disappear in front of their eyes.
Right.
So Sebastian Shaw is like, did she just disappear in front of her eyes? And Tessa says, no, she actually just dazed us. She has some sort of hypno power. She hypnotized us and then just ran away. Can you imagine? Everybody thinks she's teleporting, but they're really just losing 30 seconds of their life.
Well, I always think about this with Batman, right? Like, he's clearly he distracts somebody for a second, and then he runs away or hides behind a little wall or something until the guy leaves. He's like if you had a bird's eye view on what just happened with Batman when Commissioner Gordon turned around and Batman was gone, you'd be what a fucking dork.
He's actually just around the corner going, please don't check back here. Please don't check back here.
Just leave. Damn it, leave.
Okay. Rachel is walking out of a room where she apparently just served some tea and nearly falls over laughing at the experience when she feels Selene sneaking up on her. She slaps her with her serving tray and telekinetically throws her across a room only to find that it was Amara she attacked. Selene had already cast an illusion, and now the two women are both under her complete control. She presents the chains to Sebastian Shaw, gifting the two mutants to the Hellfire Club.
Oh.
Soon, Rachel pulls herself out of Selene's influence, but doesn't want to try to control her body until she frees Amara. Using a psychic rapport she built between the two earlier in the day, she visits Amara's mind. Amara immediately attacks, and the two fight until she powers up into her magma form and also breaks free of Selene's mind control. Also, Tessa is there. Magma is going nuts, causing a massive earthquake and bringing down the building while Rachel summons Xavier with her telepathy. Selene begins to fight back, grabbing the women with the ground when Nightcrawler ports her out and then nerve pinches her unconscious. The rest of the X-Men follow him, but Sebastian Shaw is like, hey, no, I didn't want any of this. Feel free to just, leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I didn't, this wasn't me.
I didn't even invite her.
Hey, please, don't fight me. Just, you could go. I didn't.
This was supposed to be a party. This was supposed to be a pleasant event for all of us.
I was sitting in my woodstone chair, and she just came in and started fucking things up. I didn't.
It's great. It's very. The last time we saw the X-Men is when Juggernaut and Colossus got into a fight, and then saw Wolverine and was like, "You want some of this too?" And Wolverine was like, Nope. It's very bad.
Love it. Yeah.
As they pick themselves up, Amara asks how the X-Men knew where to find them. It must have been the telepathic summons, Rachel assumes, but as they step outside, they see a trail of destruction centered around the Hellfire Mansion. Amara says, "Did I do all of this?" Yes.
Yeah.
Who else?
And how many times do you have to go through this exact scenario?
Elsewhere, Jaime Rodriguez is watching an anti-mutant news show on his Watchman.
Remember
waiting
Watchmen?
for the subway. Yeah, this is incredible.
These are like
They didn't last very long.
They were like these little portable TVs with an antenna. They were like antenna TVs, but they were like the size of a like a remote, like a fat remote control. And you would walk around, you could tune them like a radio, and there was a little black and white screen on the top of them. For whatever reason, I was just talking to somebody about this the other day.
You could only, with the power that it required, you could only get 30 minutes of watch time out of it.
And it was battery powered. It was...
Yeah, because it was completely battery powered. This was before rechargeable batteries were really a thing.
What it really was for dorky middle-aged...
Watching one episode of I Dream of Jeannie.
It was for dorky middle-aged guys whose friggin' wives made them come to the function when the boys are on.
The damn ball game is on.
The dang ball game is on. My team is playing.
Anyway, he's watching his Watchman, waiting for the subway, and deciding he's simply going to destroy the necklace when a mugger stabs him in the back.
No! Jaime Rodriguez!
No! My favorite character, dead. He'll be back, I'm sure. The mugger picks up the necklace, and suddenly the entire subway bursts into flames. Apparently, Kulon Goth is free.
Not Kulon Goth! Oh, now Jaime Rodriguez is dead. Kulon Goth is here. The friggin' subway's on fire. What the heck? I'm afraid to read the next issue, Pat. I'm scared of it.
Well,
do I have to?
Today, Matt. We'll get to that next episode.
I think episode 59. I think it's 3 episodes. Do I have to, Pat? I'm so scared. Oh, man, you're going to hate Kulon Goth.
Who?
What do you think of this little run?
I think it was fun. It was obviously Life Death is our highlight here. The art is incredible. The story really goes in deep, and it.
Wait, you think Life Death is the highlight? You like it better than Wraithkill?
Yes, I think I do.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, to each his own, I guess.
But I think, like, even outside of that iconic issue, the
Wraithkill,
the amount of Storm we get here, like out of her element, entering another new phase of her life, and the way that she explores that, we know that this is Claremont's absolute favorite to dive into, and we don't go hungry here. We have all of the Storm character development you could possibly want.
Right.
A little light on the rest of the X-Men, but I think it's enough of a story to carry itself until they show up. Storm could hold down her own series if she needed to.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely Storm's arc, and I think it makes sense. The X-Men are really kind of in flux at the moment, right? Rachel Summers is here, but we don't really know much. Like, we don't really know what she's doing here yet. And like Nightcrawler says, they feel like they've lost their purpose, right? Like, this was, I think that speech was kind of Chris Claremont saying, like, hey, just so you know, like, everything that the X-Men was 2 years ago is either gone or totally different.
Yeah, yes.
And, you know, there's no Cyclops, there's no Jean Grey. I mean, Kitty and Wolverine are changing. Storm has lost her powers. I mean, like, the New Mutants are here, and they're like a big part of it. Like, everything about this has changed. Is it even still? What does the X-Men still mean now? Yeah. And why are we still going? What is the thing that ties this X-Men to the X-Men from 2 years ago? And it's just, I mean, there's some similar characters, obviously, but it's just a ethos.
Yeah, and clearly it's him working through some of that stuff himself, right? It's him asking that question of what are the X-Men? Why am I still doing this? I know there are more stories to tell, but why would I tell them?
Right. And I mean, his next thing is, I'm going to tell a story about Kulan Goth. So maybe he is like a little bit running out of ideas.
This guy sounds pretty cool. My final takeaway from all of this is that Amanda Sefton, because she's written, is calling everybody Hun, H-O-N.
Okay.
And specifically H-O-N, not H-U-N. I can only read this in a thick DelCo accent. With the suburban Philadelphian accent, for folks that don't know, is one that, Matt, you and I grew up with. And
can you do it? What's your best?
I'll do my best, hon. Ma, wherever you are, give me strength. Bad guys just up the ante, Ororo, in a big way.
Do we know? No, we do know she's not from Philadelphia. Damn it.
Get out of here, all of you. While you have the chance, I'll cover you.
All he is.
He's got an eye out, stuff that you could buy out. If you had a time machine that you would like to try out, it's Pat Steals and Steals.
Ooh, it's time, Matt, for Pat's Steals and Deals. This edition, it's been a little while, Matt. Thought it was a good idea to check in on what Saturday morning cartoons are doing these days.
Yeah, right.
We're going to start with Saturday.
This is the one that always really stretches the premise of Pat Steals and Deals.
That's right. You don't have to buy any of this. You just have to tune in. Saturday morning on NBC will start here. We have a very cartoonish peacock. We have a very cartoonish cross-eyed peacock telling us, hey, wake up. Wait till you see what's coming on NBC. It's a whole new season.
Oh.
What we're looking at here, Matt, this is pretty impressive. We have Snorks.
Oh, my God. I remember
Snorks?
I do remember the Snorks. They were the underwater Smurfs, and I had a bunch of little figurines of the Snorks, and of course I brought them to the ocean to play in the ocean with them.
Of course.
I lost a snork.
Did you leave him there?
I lost a snork in the ocean, and I was really upset, and I looked and looked and looked. I'm guessing if it didn't just immediately get swept out to sea to become microplastic, I'm guessing it sunk into the what do you call it? The sand. Like immediately.
I'm sure maybe some other kid found it, and that kid treasured it forever.
20 years later, on a different continent, and it sent them down a rabbit hole of what the fuck is this thing?
In addition, we have the Pink Panther and Sons. This is the Pink Panther from the Pink Panther movies, like the little mascot that would do the funny intros, eventually spun off into his own cartoons, and here's all of his sons.
Guys fucking
the
all
Smurfs,
the time.
Classic Smurfs. The Alvin and the Chipmunks, classic Alvin and the Chipmunks. Kid Video, brand new show, takes you to the pup side of the universe. Okay. Mr. T, there's the Mr. T and Friends show. We have
Kid
Going
Video.
Bananas, which appears to be a live action show with a monkey.
Kid Video.
KIDD.
So the Smurfs and Alvin and the Chipmunks had been around. This isn't the beginning of them, but I think this is the beginning of the Snorks.
Yes, premiere of the Snorks as well as Pink Panther and Sons. Kid Video.
Oh, it says
Going
new
Bananas.
show wherever it. Yeah, Kid Video didn't really stick around. I'm not gleaning much from this Wikipedia article.
Okay. Well, if you want the full description, the Master Blaster is waging a battle to rule the entire rock and roll world.
Okay.
On the pup side of the universe. It might say flip. Anyway, we also have Spider-Man, and we have occasional appearances from celebrities for short spots. They have David Hasselhoff as an example.
This is that's Spider-Man and his amazing friends.
Now,
I think we will actually meet Firestar pretty soon in this.
Very soon, yeah.
In this.
Can't wait. Then over on CBS, we have Saturday's The Place.
Okay.
Listen to some of these iconic. So the image we're looking at is Richard Pryor holding a very bulky box television, and all of these things are flying out of it. We have Jim Henson's Muppet Babies.
Yes!
We have the Get Along Gang. It appears to be assorted mammals in a school, or maybe running a train or something. We have the Saturday Supercade, cartoons about Space Age, Q*bert, Donkey Kong, and Kangaroo.
Okay, I don't.
Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Okay.
Pole Position. I have no idea what pole position is, but it looks like they're all in a tall building. And then Pryor's Place, the short-lived Richard Pryor Saturday morning kids cartoon where he hung out with a bunch of puppets. They're not Muppets.
I had
they
no
are just
idea.
Puppets.
I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yes, a very real thing. And that's CBS. I'll tell you, if ABC was running Saturday morning cartoons at this time, they weren't marketing them well.
No.
He's got an eye out, stuff that you could buy out. If you had a time machine that you would like to try out, it's at Deals and Steals.
Oh, Matt, that about brings us to the end of the episode. As always, I'd encourage folks to get out there. You know, put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there. You know that boy you have a crush on? Ask him out. You know that.
Tell him about Mutant Menace.
But tell him about Mutant Menace too. You know that college course you've been thinking about taking? Go take it and write an essay about Mutant Menace.
Tell everybody in the class about Mutant Menace. You should be most of the things that would also better your life. You can also use it as an opportunity to either tell people about Mutant Menace or rate us, review us, like things that we put out there, follow us wherever you can, subscribe. What's another word?
That's it. You can you can follow some of those places are we have a Discord in the show notes that you can visit and join. And there's a lot of cool chat there. We share it with the Save Your Game podcast. You can go to Mutant Menace Pod on Instagram, where we got stuff.
Lots of really cool show art that Matt makes. He's very talented with it and doesn't brag about it. But also little clips that we both make. We're both very good at.
Yeah, and you can find some of that stuff also on YouTube. Mutant Menace Podcast or Pod. I don't know. I'm sleepy. I got sleepy.
YouTube,
I got sleepy by the end of this episode,
sleepy.
Patrick. Yeah.
Wake up so you can say your thank yous
to a little makeup. You wanted to. You wanted to.
So that you can say your thank yous to don't start again.
Say your thank yous to Julia Selly. You wanted to. And say your thank yous to Chris Wilson. You wanted to.
Perfect. And with that, Matt, I guess there's nothing else for us to say aside, of course, from our famous sign off.
Yeah, our famous sign off that I have right here.
That you have written down right in front of you in case we ever forget.
That I have right here, and I did not forget it.
Well, I'll say it first. As always, hearken, O man. I am power, don me, obey me, and the world is yours.
And remember, make me Blondie.